Hi, today I would like to talk about the gender pay gap and add my voice to the chorus of people who say that the gender pay gap does not exist. In fact, I'm beginning to think that nowadays being born as a woman is more advantageous financially than being born as a man. Because I am not an expert in this field, I will show 3 videos of people who are experts in this field, and of course they know much better than me. The first video is from Claudia Goldin, a Nobel Prize winner in economics in 2023, and her research is based exactly on that gender pay gap. The second video is Jordan Peterson, a Canadian psychology author and media commentator. And the third video is from Maya Milusheva, an entrepreneur and a woman in tech. So here is Claudia Goldin in an interview with PBS News.
When men and women begin their lives as workers, they earn similar amounts. And as their lives progress, these differences widen. I mean, that's a fact. And then the question is, how do we explain it? Much of this occurs around the time of the birth of a child. That explains a large part of the widening gap between men and women as men and women get older. What women, particularly those who are mothers, lose relative to men who are fathers is not fully made up. And if anything, men who are fathers, we see, seem to have something that we call the paternal premium.
Mom and dad are equally educated, equally able, working what Goldin calls greedy jobs, 100-hour weeks and sky-high pay. But then
they just had a child, they want a second one, and they realize this is untenable, that someone has to be the on-call at-home parent.
So mom stays home, dad stays in the pressure cooker. But fathers not only work more hours and thus make more money than mothers, they also make more than single men.
And here is Jordan Peterson at a conversation that he was having at a British TV station.
I'm interested in people being able to have different choices and having equality of outcome.
Well, so you're going to have choices and equality of outcome. What if people choose different things, which is what they've been doing in Scandinavia? So the Scandinavian countries have moved more towards gender equality than any other countries. And the personality differences in Scandinavia have increased rather than decreased, and the proportion of women who are choosing STEM fields has decreased rather than increased. So as cultures become more gender neutral, the number of women who choose STEM fields decreases.
What do you mean by STEM fields?
So science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. So if you let men and women make their choices, what actually happens is that they specialize in different situations, and you don't get equality of outcome.
Could they not have been programmed to have those views from the moment we raise them and give boys Lego and construction?
No, because what happens is that as countries get more egalitarian, which means there's less programming of that sort, the differences get larger, not smaller. And the scientific data on that is clear, and most of it was generated by people who have a left-leaning bias, so you can't blame it on conservative scientists. It was a shock to everyone to find that out.
There's nowhere in the world that women are equal, but Scandinavia has made the most progress towards shared parenting, etc. Yep. That said, it's not done yet. There's nowhere in the world where this is done yet.
But it's having the opposite effect that the gender equality types predicted. Opposite, not the same. And it isn't a theory, it's actually data driven by tens of thousands of surveys and the best scientific literature on the topic. It's not a theory, and I didn't come about it because of my political perspective. I looked at the data. What it showed was that as countries become more egalitarian, the differences between men and women grow. They don't shrink.
Was that men and women are basically alike in terms of personality, in terms of cognitive ability, in terms of leadership. But what it did find was that media depictions of men and women as fundamentally different perpetuate misconceptions, as does workplace bias.
Oh, God, so it's my fault.
Men and women actually are more the same than they are different. But the issue is that small differences at the population level can turn into very large differences at the extreme. So, for example, men and women are broadly similar with regards to aggression, although men tilt a little bit more towards aggression. So that if you picked a random person out of the population, male and female, and you guessed that the male was more aggressive, you'd be right 60% of the time. But if you take the 1 in 100 most aggressive people they're all male. And that's why the overwhelming proportion of people who are in prisons are male. Now, do you want to equalize that, just out of curiosity? What about bricklayers? They're 99% male. And we've got about 3/4 of the population now in universities in the humanities and social sciences are female.
Yeah.
Are we going to equalize that? And men work longer hours. They work more dangerous jobs. They're more likely to move. They're more likely to work outside. They're more likely to participate in jobs in the STEM fields that are scalable. They make more money for those reasons. And that's all hidden under the idea that the reason that men and women make different amounts of money is because of their gender. It's a very simplistic analysis. And
finally, here is Maya Milusheva at a conference in Bulgaria about women in technology.
Hi, my name is Maya Milusheva. I'd like to start with a short introduction about myself. I'm a woman in IT, obviously. I'm a CEO of a quite profitable IT company. I'm a mother as well, so you would say I went through quite a lot in the IT industry. So I have the experience and authority to talk about this topic. Now, what I want to say is that the whole talk about women in IT is usually a bad thing for us. Because basically what it says is, well, it's okay to have lower income, it's okay to do worse than boys in the IT industry because, well, there's a world conspiracy against you, you know, people hate you, that's why. So that's why I'm against the whole talk. Also, I did some recruiting because I have a company. And also I went to a school that had like 8 girls and 100 boys. So, you know, I'm quite used to being around a lot of boys. The whole thing is, girls are usually quite lazy. They're just not that good programmers. Sorry, but that's true, honestly. They just don't want to get their hands dirty to do the job. And when I tried to do some recruiting, I intentionally wanted to recruit women. And at the end, I failed to do so. Do you want to know why? Because most of those girls were usually just cheating, and they were just not good programmers. At the end, I had to recruit boys. And that's why I think the whole talk about let's recruit more women is bad, because at the end, you're recruiting worse programmers. At the end, your company is going to suffer. You're going to lose some money. I know it's trendy to talk about women in IT, but I think women should just start studying more and getting the job done. And I honestly don't see girls staying up until late at their office and working that often. No, it's usually the boys staying there. Why? I don't know. So that's what I want to say. I think the whole lecture should be removed, and I think it's just bullshit.
So my conclusion after watching this experts talk is that there is no gender gap. The only reason why men in general they earn more than women is because men are willing to work longer hours. Men are more willing to move from one end of the country to the other one. Men are more willing to work in dangerous jobs, maybe like police, like maybe the army, maybe like jumping out of airplanes, all these kind of dangerous jobs. Men are more willing to work in the STEM fields, science, technology, engineering, and math. And these are all the reasons why men on aggregate they earn more money than women. But when you have a man and a woman, they work the same amount of hours, they have the same amount of experience, they earn exactly the same amount of money, or the difference is just so negligible. So that's it for today. Thank you so much for watching, and until soon. Peace.